What's up, guys? Today we're talking about the 5-star starter characters in Mortal Kombat Onslaught. Which one of them is the best? What gear should you equip them with? I'm going to answer all of that and more, so let's get into it. Alright, so for those who don't know, when you first start the game you get a free welcome summon, which is a guaranteed 5-star fighter. The possible summons are Hat Kung Lao, who's a warrior, God Fujin, who's an assassin, Undying Kahn, who's a defender, Deadeye Erron Black, who's an offensive support, and Shadowmancer Noob Saibot, who's a defensive support. So a lot of people have been asking which one is the best. Well, I actually really hate this question, and I'll get into why in just a sec, but if I absolutely had to pick one, I'd go with Shadowmancer Noob Saibot. However, I really feel the question itself is a bad question to be asking, and this is because all 5 of the starter characters do completely different jobs. So you tell me, which character is better? Hat Kung Lao, the #1 warrior, or Undying Shao Kahn, the #1 tank? The thing is, they're both #1 at what they do, so there's no reason to value one more than the other. A player with a bunch of good DPS units and no good frontliners is going to get way more benefit from Undying Shao Kahn, just like the player with no good damage dealers will get way more benefit from Hat Kung Lao. The devs picked these characters because they all fulfill completely different roles, so ranking them would be like ranking Skittles colors from best to worst. I can do it, but it wouldn't actually help you. That said, if this video gets over 1,000 likes, I will release a Skittles colors tier list video, so go ahead and smash that like button. Alright, so then why am I saying Shadowmancer Noob Saibot is the best starter 5-star? Well, simple. Of all the starter 5-stars, Shadowmancer Noob Saibot has the most potential because his ideal synergy team, the Netherrealm team, is, as of the recording of this video, the top team in the game. So I gotta give my nod to the one starter character who's currently a core member of the top meta team. And that's literally the only reason. Individually, every single one of the starter 5-star characters is currently placed in God tier on our solo character tier list. Well, all of them but one. So, let's talk about him first. Deadeye Erron Black. So we currently have this guy ranked as Elite +1, and since every other starter 5-star is ranked as God tier, that must mean Deadeye is the worst, right? Well, like I've been trying to explain, they all excel at different jobs, and Deadeye Erron Black is no different. See, our tier list is, very specifically, a solo character tier list, which means if you drop a character onto a random team with 3 random teammates, how well are they gonna perform? The reason we have the +1s and +2s is because some characters get a lot more powerful when paired with the right teammates. For example, Scorpion on a random team is only usable tier, but as soon as you pair him with someone like Quan Chi, who grants him +25% attack and +25% max HP, as well as a bunch of vampirism and critical chance, all of a sudden Scorpion is performing at least an elite tier level. So it's true, Deadeye Erron Black is the only 5-star starter character who you can't just plop onto a random team and expect God tier results from. This is because Deadeye Erron Black is a little bit picky about who he likes to fully support. As soon as you pair him with the right allies, Deadeye Erron Black will easily get you some God tier results. So let's look at his abilities. Deadeye Erron Black is currently the #1 offensive support, and that's because he brings the damage. His passive provides a 20% critical chance boost to himself and any body affinity teammates, and he also rewards body allies for landing critical hits by increasing their critical damage +2% each time, up to 50% additional critical damage. This is an incredibly powerful passive, but as you can see, it only really benefits body teammates. His first auto deals damage and grants himself a critical chance boost, which is nice, but his second auto deals damage and applies Marked to an enemy for 9 seconds. Marked is one of the best debuffs in the entire game because it greatly increases the likelihood of receiving incoming critical hits. Basically, if an enemy is marked, your team is about to crit the shit out of them. Now, if Deadeye is the only teammate focusing said target, it's not quite as impactful, but that's where his special comes in, since it not only deals a truckload of damage, but it also applies Marked for 14 seconds. So basically, Deadeye Erron Black chooses which enemy gets wrecked. His first combo converts his first auto into an AoE that applies Marked to any damaged enemies with lower accuracy than him. His third combo provides a 7-second damage buff to ally auto abilities whenever 3 or more enemies are marked at the same time. His damage boosting tools are unbelievably powerful, and it makes him an absolute top choice for content like Liu Kang Boss Tower. Let's talk ideal teammates. Well, it should come as no surprise that Deadeye Erron Black prefers to work with body affinity allies. He pairs extremely well with characters like Frost, Scarlet, Johnny Cage, and Katana, in addition to 5-star characters like Undying Shao Kahn, Hellfire Scorpion, and Wind God Fujin. However, he actually has surprisingly good synergy with a second support character, and one who isn't even body affinity. And that character is Fire Support Jax. The short version is that Fire Support Jax provides massive attack and damage boosts for ranged physical damage type allies, which Deadeye Erron is. And he also provides a quicken buff whenever allies land critical hits, which Deadeye Erron literally provides. So easily one of the best free-to-play teams you can assemble right now is one that we've dubbed Firing Squad. Shout out to Rainbow Sheep, because its backline consists of Deadeye Erron Black, Fire Support Jax, and Frost. Katana works well as a substitute if you don't have Frost, and the ideal solo frontliner for the team is either Undying Shao Kahn, as he is also a body character, or Arctica Sub-Zero, since he does a lot to delay enemy specials which can threaten the backline. However, any sturdy solo tank will do great for that team, including characters like Base Kung Lao and even Base Noob Saibot. As for his ideal gear, Deadeye Erron Black provides team buffs based on landing critical hits, so naturally you want to give him a critical chance set. And then, because you can expect him to land a bunch of critical hits, it only makes sense to also provide him with a critical damage set. Deadeye Erron Black is the literal embodiment of may all your hits be crits. Alright, next we'll take a look at Undying Shao Kahn. All you really need to know about Undying Shao Kahn is that he is a brick. He's currently the #1 tank in the game, and it's because even his testicles are made of titanium. If your Yu Shao is dying, you can rest assured knowing that you are in over your head, or you've at least made some very silly decisions. Looking at his abilities, Yu Shao's passive grants him a massive attack boost when he falls below 60% health, but more importantly, it also causes him to revive with 30% max health after being KO'd, after which he immediately inflicts a 20-second attack debuff on nearby enemies. This, of course, just makes him even more difficult to kill. His first auto deals damage and applies a stun on a critical hit. However, his second auto gets 100% critical chance and heals him for 100% of the damage that it deals on a crit, because what tank wouldn't want a built-in self-heal? His special applies taunt to nearby enemies for 7 seconds, both forcing them to attack him and preventing them from activating their specials. That's right, a well-timed taunt can completely shut down enemy specials for 7 seconds. He also boosts his defense by 7% of the enemy's attack stats for 8 seconds, and he also reflects 20% of all incoming melee damage. His first combo provides a chance to knock down with his first auto, while his third combo adds additional damage and duration to the knockdown. So to recap, he revives on death, applies an attack debuff, blocks enemy specials, has a self-heal, gives himself a defense boost, and reflects melee damage. Like I said, dude is a brick. As far as his ideal team comp, Yu Shao is actually fairly flexible. He certainly doesn't rely on any specific allies, he's a dominating tank on literally any team. However, if you really want to lean into his strengths, easily his best pairing is actually going to be with 4-star Base Shao Kahn. This is because Base Shao Kahn provides all Outworld teammates with plus 30% max health. So if you thought Yu Shao was tough to kill before, you should see him with 30% more max health. He does get a very nice damage boost from Deadeye Erron Black, especially since one of his abilities always crits, and he also becomes a literal nightmare when paired with just about any healer. Shadowmancer Noob Saibot fulfills that role the best, but even a 3-star healer like Fujin can provide enough healing to enable Yu Shao to tank an entire army by himself. But that's really it for his synergies. He doesn't actually belong to a specific team currently. You can just slot him onto literally any team that needs a frontliner, and Big Daddy Yu Shao will go to work. As for his gear, being that he's a tank, you want to set him up with tank gear, specifically a 2-piece health set and a 2-piece defense set. As for his final couple of pieces, I always recommend running a 2-piece tenacity set, because shrugging off a status effect like burn or bleed will help a tank live even longer, but you can also give him a 2-piece critical chance set since his first auto stuns whenever he lands a critical hit. So to sum up, Yu Shao is basically the juggernaut. Alright, now we'll take a look at Hat Kung Lao. Hat is currently the #1 warrior in the game. He sees an enemy, he shreds an enemy. He's naturally tanky and does just fine as a frontliner, but where he really excels is as a tank buster. Undying Shao Kahn may be made of titanium, but Razor Hat is the plasma cutter, and he has very little patience for any body enemies. Talking abilities, Razor Lao's passive makes his abilities apply bleed for 6 seconds. Bleed deals damage over time equivalent to 15% of a character's attack stat. In addition to nasty bleeds, his passive also causes him to gain 8% special meter whenever he applies a bleed, meaning he gets his special deceptively quickly. His first auto is an AoE capable of applying bleeds to multiple targets, as well as causing knockup. The second auto deals damage to his primary target, and then he throws his hat at another target just because he likes making things bleed. His special ability allows him to throw his hat for a nice chunk of damage to a primary target before it bounces to other enemies on the field, hitting up to 4 targets. His first combo changes his basic attacks into AoEs, while his third combo grants him a small heal after using his special based on how many enemies he made bleed. So basically, Razor Lao lives by one philosophy. Anyone can catch these hands, but everybody's gonna catch this hat. So what's his ideal team comp? Well, much like you, Shao, Razor Lao doesn't have many specific synergy options to choose from. The only really concrete synergy I can recommend is actually with Tanya, believe it or not. And this is because she provides a 40% special charge boost for 10 seconds to all Mind Affinity allies after using her own special. Razor Lao does possess the tag Order of Light, which he shares with a bunch of other characters like Liu Kang, Raiden, Fujin, and Johnny Cage, among others. The problem is, not a single one of those characters provides any benefit whatsoever for other Order of Light characters. While I can see a future Order of Light character unifying the team, currently the tag's pretty much pointless. But like Yu Shao, Razor Lao is a menace on pretty much any team. He'll obliterate enemy body characters, and he won't have much trouble with enemy mind characters either. Just stay clear of dangerous spirit enemies and let Razor Lao go cutting his way through the enemies like Jason Voorhees on a cruise ship. When it comes to his gear, he wants to deal damage, and lots of it. His primary weapons are his bleeds, and they scale off of attack, so you definitely want to give him an attack set. As for his 2-piece set, I generally recommend a critical chance set, since massacring people is kind of his thing. But if you notice he's dying a bit too quickly, you can definitely give him a 2-piece health set, which works well with his naturally high health and turns him into a formidable off-tank. Razor Hat Kung Lao is the personification of if it bleeds, it can be killed. Now it's time to take a look at God Fujin. I actually already have a video all about God Fujin, so if you want to watch a deep dive, definitely check that out. Otherwise, here's the Cliff Notes version. God Fujin is a bloodthirsty savage who likes to stab people as much as he likes to listen to their screams. God Fujin has a high-risk, high-reward playstyle, but when he's set up for success, he'll rack up a body count that rivals most natural disasters. When it comes to his abilities, God Fujin's passive boosts his critical damage in relation to his initiative, and he's already plenty fast. At the start of every wave and after every enemy he KOs, he'll perform what's called an airwalk. Basically, he takes an invisible escalator up into the sky where he's completely untargetable, then he finds the enemy with the lowest max health and drops straight onto their face with a dive kick. His first auto is a devastating 10-hit power drill that can land as a block breaker. His second auto is a high burst knockup that hits airborne enemies additional times. His special throws out his sword to deal massive burst damage to a nearby enemy, and while he resumes his attacks, the sword will spin in the air for up to 10 additional hits, based on how many times he's won initiative during the match. When two melee characters face off, the one with the higher initiative gets to attack first, and God is naturally faster than everybody, so he pretty much always wins. This means he's exceptionally good for PvE content where he can clear out a bunch of minions, essentially turbocharging the damage on his special. His first combo grants him a chance to cleanse a debuff after each basic with a little bonus damage, and his third combo adds an additional hit after his first auto that can remove a buff from an enemy to deal bonus damage. God Fujin is easily the squishiest of the starter 5-stars because he's an assassin, meaning he has almost non-existent defense, so you have to be very careful about which enemies you face with him, since letting him dive in front of the wrong Mind Affinity enemy, like a Razor Hat Kung Lao, can result in his untimely death. Regarding his ideal team comp, God Fujin, much like the previous two entries, doesn't have much in the way of concrete synergies. As a body character, his best pairing is definitely with Deadeye Erron Black for the critical damage boost, as well as how devastating it can be when hitting an enemy with Marked. If I had to reach for another good pairing option, it would be 4-star based Kung Lao, since God Fujin is very squishy and Kung Lao can provide him a big shield to protect him, in addition to working well with Deadeye Erron as a body character. While I wouldn't recommend it for most content, you could run him with a character like Johnny Cage to combine Johnny's defense debuff with God Fujin's special for a quick kill. Unfortunately, his demigod tag is currently useless. While he does share this tag with other characters like Raiden, Base Fujin, and Fire God Liu Kang, literally none of them provide any benefits whatsoever for other demigod characters. Maybe in the future we'll see some solid demigod synergy. For his ideal gear sets, being an assassin, God Fujin wants to eviscerate people as quickly as he possibly can. His passive provides him additional critical damage, meaning a 2-piece critical chance set is a must. As for his 4-piece set, I recommend an attack set since his ability scalings are really good, but if you really want to gamble with him, his multi-hit abilities are either all crits or no crits, meaning you definitely can build him with a critical damage set instead and create opportunities where he lands a 10-hit multi-crit that completely annihilates someone. The game may call him God Fujin, but you'll get to know him better as the God of Death. Finally, Shadowmancer Noob Saibot. I also already have a dedicated video on Shadowmancer Noob Saibot, and in that video I get really in-depth on his synergies in particular. So if you want a deep dive on Shadowmancer Noob Saibot, definitely give that one a watch. The quick version is that S-Noob is currently the best healer in the game, making him by default the best defensive support in the game. He also has incredibly strong synergies with several characters, ultimately establishing himself as a core member of the current top team in the entire game. As for his abilities, S-Noob's passive provides his entire team with a 30% incoming special damage decrease, and it also gives 300 block to any Brotherhood of Shadow allies. His first auto is literally just a weak damaging ability, but his second auto deals damage and drains 10% special meter from an enemy. His special is where he really shines, since he provides a 34% max HP heal to a target, as well as a 15-second attack buff. He also provides a 15-second critical chance boost if the target is Brotherhood of Shadow. His first combo adds an accuracy debuff and some damage to his first auto, but his third combo upgrades his other auto ability to instead steal 20% special meter and transfer that to himself. As for his ideal team comp, because I discussed this in so much detail in my dedicated video, I'm just going to give the super simplified version. Netherrealm synergy is currently the best in the entire game. Shadowmancer provides additional benefits to Brotherhood of Shadow characters, which currently includes Quan Chi, Noob Saibot, and Tanya. Quan Chi's passive provides plus 25% max HP and max attack to all Netherrealm, as well as Vampirism on basic attack critical hits. Quan Chi's special provides Vampirism on any outgoing damage with a huge critical chance boost for 10 seconds. Base Noob Saibot gets an extra 22% health from magic damage teammates when paired with Shadowmancer and Quan Chi, for example. And while there is no direct synergy between the two, both Scorpion and Hellfire Scorpion are Netherrealm tag and both fit perfectly on a Netherrealm team. Lastly, I'd be remiss if I didn't also mention his synergy with the epic relic, Draman's Mask. This relic has no equip restrictions, meaning you can use 4 of them for the 4 members of the team, and it provides 20% max HP by itself, plus an additional 30% attack and 30% max HP if the wearer has 3 Netherrealm teammates. So yeah, Netherrealm synergy, OP. But like, really OP. Regarding his gear, Shadowmancer Noob Saibot is a healer at the end of the day, with his heal scaling off his max HP, meaning you want to give him a 2-piece health set as well as a 2-piece defense set so that he can continue healing even when things get heated. As for his final 2-piece set, specifically if you're pairing him with Quan Chi, then you definitely want to give him the 2-piece critical chance set for the Vampirism. However, if you are not running Quan Chi, then I recommend a 2-piece Tenacity set to resist things like burn and freeze so that his heal is always available to you when you need it most. Just remember, when the going gets tough, embrace darkness. Alright, there you have it, my breakdown of all 5 starter 5-star characters. If this video taught you something, help me out by slapping that like button. If there's a topic you want me to make sure to cover in a future video, definitely let me know in the comments down below. Otherwise, thank you guys so much for checking out this video, and I will see you guys real soon. Until next time, peace!